Anna sat in her small apartment, the gift for her brother's engagement wrapped neatly on the table, gold paper, tied with a ribbon she bought from her last paycheck. The phone rang, and for a moment her heart lifted. But the voice that came through wasn't filled with love. It was cold cutting. "Don't show up," her brother said flatly. "We don't need you embarrassing us." From the background came the sound of their parents laughing. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was rejection wrapped in cruelty. Anna froze, her heart pounding in disbelief, tears trembling at the edge of her lashes. When the call ended, silence flooded the room, heavy, suffocating. She sat for a long while, staring at the gift, the memories of family dinners and childhood laughter dissolving into something bitter. But then slowly she stood up. With trembling hands, she placed the gift back on the shelf and whispered, "I may not have much left, but I have my dignity." The line was soft but powerful, echoing in the small apartment like a promise. Pulling her worn coat around her shoulders, she stepped into the cold night. Rain began to fall, soft and steady, as if the sky itself wept with her. Streetlights blurred through tears as she walked away, alone, heartbroken, but unbroken in spirit. At a deserted bus stop, Anna noticed an elderly man struggling with a torn grocery bag. Without hesitation, she bent down to help him, gathering the scattered apples and cans. He looked at her kindly, surprised by her warmth in such a quiet hour. "You have kind hands," he said with a tired smile. "Most people just walk by." She shrugged, embarrassed. "It's nothing," but he shook his head. Kindness is never nothing. He offered her coffee at a small diner nearby, a flicker of light and warmth in the rainy dark. Inside, the diner smelled of coffee and baked pie. The two sat in a corner booth, steam rising from their mugs as they spoke. Anna told him, hesitantly, about her family, not out of self-pity, but to let the words leave her chest where they'd been burning. The man listened quietly, nodding. "People who hurt you," he said finally, "they only do it because they see something in you they lost in themselves. Grace." His words struck deep, softening her pain into something almost peaceful. When they parted, he handed her a business card, Mason Farms Rehabilitation Center, and said, "If you ever need work, they could use someone with your heart." She thanked him and tucked the card into her bag, never expecting to see it again. 4 days later, Anna woke to the sound of her phone vibrating nonstop. Dozens of missed calls. Her mother's trembling voice finally came through. There'd been a fire at her brother's engagement party. Everyone escaped, but her brother was injured, and the new house was destroyed. The same voices that had laughed now cried. Anna listened silently, then whispered, "I'll come." At the hospital, her mother couldn't meet her eyes. Her father's face was gray with guilt. Her brother turned away, ashamed. Anna placed flowers on the bedside table, looked at each of them with calm forgiveness, and said only, "Take care." She turned and walked away, the sound of her footsteps steady and sure. Days later, an envelope arrived at her door, a letter from a law firm. The kind old man from the diner had passed away, and in his will, he left her partial ownership of the Mason Farms Rehabilitation Center he had built for women recovering from hardship. He had seen something in her that she couldn't yet see in herself. The letter ended with his final words, "Dignity is the seed of destiny. You chose it when it was hardest. Months passed." With quiet strength, Anna began working at the center, helping other women rebuild their lives. She learned to smile again, not because life got easier, but because she grew stronger. A year later, the center held a reopening ceremony, renamed the Mason Hope Foundation. Anna stood on the porch as the crowd gathered. Among them, her parents and brother watched silently, their faces filled with regret and pride. She didn't need their apology. Her forgiveness was already given. The sun dipped low, painting the horizon gold as Anna looked out across the field. The wind caught her hair, carrying the scent of wildflowers and a life reclaimed. She smiled, not the smile of the broken, but of someone who finally understood her worth. In the distance, bells rang from the town, soft and steady like a heartbeat. She closed her eyes, whispering to herself, "I left with my dignity, and found everything I was meant to be." Theme. Moral. True strength isn't in revenge or validation. It's in walking away with grace and trusting that life will honor your dignity in its own time.